I want an alien for Christmas. Bring me an alien this year.
My name is Gina from HauntedFlower.com and HauntedFlowerReviews.com, and today I'm going to be reviewing the complete Alien Anthology on Blu-ray, which was released on October 26th this year. Look how shiny. It has 6 Blu-ray discs. It's kind of presented in like a book format. It tells you the story like, once upon a time, there was an alien movie. Look, here's the disc. It pops out. And then, look, there's a picture. And then there was a movie called Aliens. Look, it has a pop-out disc too. And then we moved along. And then the series got weird because then we have Alien with a little 3 because it's exponentially alien with a pop-out disc. Ooh, a picture. And then we have Alien Resurrection where it got all kinds of messy. And there's a pop-out disc. Ooh, a picture. And then we have 2 crazy Blu-ray discs that are just full of extras. In space, no one can hear you scream. And if you watch all 60 hours of the content and view all 12,000 photo images, no one will ever see you for many, many days. While eventually each has at least one alien to make a large body count, they all have different tones. Ridley Scott's Alien is like this suspenseful horror movie. James Cameron's Aliens is like this sci-fi spectacle, adventure, thriller, action entertainment. Alien 3 is like this drama about religion and society and isolation. And then Alien Resurrection just gets into this really weird fan fiction type fantasy. I decided to start on Halloween and I was going to watch all these movies in a straight-up marathon. First, I started with Alien. I passed on the 1979 theatrical version to watch the 2003 director's cut. We meet Lieutenant Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, for the very first time. She's a strong woman who follows protocol and is second in command on the ship until her captain meets an untimely demise. The rest of the crew are awoken early from hypersleep to investigate a strange signal so that they can land on a planet to investigate, and strange things happen. She tries to follow protocol and keep the infection off the ship, keep the others in isolation when things go wrong, but somebody kind of decides not to do that and follow her order, and oh wow, that person later ended up being a droid working for the company, and it all gets messy. Turns out, droids like to bring aliens back to the company so that they can be discovered if they can be made to be weapons. And that is a big conflict going on throughout the rest of the series. After the very first infamous alien bursting out of the chest occurred, it goes bleh, and it's like really gross too. Bleh. And Ripley's prejudice against droids is solidified after nearly being killed by one. And Ripley fights the good fight to save a cat. Yes. And she becomes the sole human survivor of the experience. The effects in the movie are all pretty much practical. It still looks fantastic and holds up today. And I've only seen it a few times and parts of it still like made me jump out of my chair. The character Ripley was really important at the time because she's one of the toughest female characters ever in a movie and held her own. Not many women led an entire movie at the time. Then we hop over to James Cameron and Aliens. James Cameron is the master of the epic movie. Before Titanic and Avatar, this film and Terminator 2 were his big claims to fame that everyone knew him for in the sci-fi genre, and bypassed the 1986 theatrical edition in favor of the 1991 director's cut edition. See, Cameron didn't have to wait till 2003 to decide, it needs more stuff. Put it in now, because let's face it, he loves to make tons and tons and tons of stuff in his movie, and then he kind of tries to squeeze it all in, and when it doesn't work, he's like, okay, I'm gonna leave this stuff for my crazy DVD later. It'll be awesome. In my opinion, Aliens is the best of the series and the popular favorite held by most people that I've talked to. The premise of the creatures is already established, so all you have to do is pull Ripley out of hypersleep and explain that, you've been out for like this many years and you're a liar and you didn't really encounter an alien and blow up a ship and stuff. We think you're full of it and you should pay for the damages and we're gonna sue you. And she's like, no, I was telling the truth. You guys are assholes. When she finds out that they put a colony on that planet that she visited a long time ago, she said, bad idea, call me when it doesn't work out, and they kind of have to. The company says, you know what, maybe we spoke too fast back there. Maybe you could go back and see if maybe this is like what you were talking about, make sure it's safe for our peeps, because we don't hear from them no more. This movie also has Paul Reiser as the company representative, and he's like, no, we promise, we want to go kill the alien. He doesn't want to kill the alien. There's always at least one dude who wants to screw it up for everybody else and bring a little alien back with him, but aliens cannot be tamed. There. Awesomely this time, Ripley gets combat soldiers to accompany her, including one of the most buff women I have ever seen in my life, who can do backwards pull-ups, OMG, and Bill Paxton has the best performance of his life. Game over, man! Game over! The cat has been replaced by a little girl named Newt. And if Ripley can just save this little girl named Newt, who has an amazing scream, then everything will be great in the world. This movie does everything right in terms of effects, the speed of the storytelling, character development, and just keeping the whole thing really darn exciting. You actually care about these characters, and the size of the guns that they are carrying around while being completely impractical is pretty badass. Moving on to Alien 3. I passed over the 1992 version for the restored work print version from 2003, and this movie is directed by David Fincher. The way this movie goes, it feels like David Fincher wanted to make a prison movie in space, and he had this intricate plot laid out about this religion and society and stuff, and then someone approached him and said, you know what? They need a new movie in the Alien franchise. Do you think you could combine them and we'll give you money to make it? And he's like, yeah, ching. Ripley actually made it off the planet with some friends last time. So they all died. When you get to the third movie, like, oh, their sleeping capsules didn't work. My bad. She arrives on this crazy, giant prison planet. The prisoners are no longer held captive, and they have adopted a religion, and they have shaved heads and a monk-like lifestyle, but are seething with potential violence. Ripley gets a G.I. Jane haircut and instantly goes on a search for which of the bodies may have been impregnated with a new alien. Eventually, she discovers it's her. Oops. This movie feels like it goes so slow. We have really quiet, long dialogue scenes, and then some crazy action happening randomly somewhere, and then we go back and forth. And it's really hard to get a picture for the layout of the place, where people are and why they are lingering there. And with the bald heads, it's sometimes difficult to even tell who is who. And the film uses almost completely CGI aliens, and it looks really obvious compared to the practical ones before when you're watching them back to back. The aliens move smoother and more fluidly, but it looks so unnatural. They look like they do not belong in that backdrop. For 2 hours into the extended cut, I fell asleep at 1 a.m. When I did catch up on the last 30 to 40 minutes, the bodies continued to pile up. Bishop made a reappearance. He was the droid from the second movie. And Ripley decides to take a backwards swan dive into a convenient furnace to avoid scientific study and being taken back to a lab somewhere. You would think if Ripley is dead that would end the series, but then you remember, oh wait, there's a fourth movie, Alien Resurrection, with an introduction by the director Jean-Pierre Jeunet. I watched the 2003 special edition version of Alien Resurrection because I've been in it this long, I might as well watch all the special editions. When I went back and investigated the writing credits on this film, suddenly it all makes sense. The first two writers that are on the IMDb page are the ones that created the characters originally. The one who wrote the screenplay, Joss Whedon. Makes sense now, doesn't it? There's a handful of bandits stuck in a situation in space, and we're all trying to grow, and one woman has superpowers, so of course it's a Joss Whedon film. Somehow, despite Ripley's incineration at the end of Alien 3, they say that they managed to find blood samples of her left on the planet, cloned her, extracted the queen out of her belly like they wished to do, and they encouraged the queen to breed. The Ripley clone begins with this childlike understanding of the world around her, but eventually it's decided that she has retained all of her memories through a vague scientific explanation that makes no sense, and she has super strength now. Babyface Winona Ryder, Hellboy, and a few others show up at the space lab and throw things off a little bit. And one of the biggest reasons that this movie is a fail is Winona Ryder is entirely too whiny, offering up lots of complaints but little substance or help on the mission. I want to stop the aliens. Don't you want to stop the aliens? We need to stop the aliens because they're bad. But oh, that man has an alien in him and we can't shoot him. Is she a moron? Nope, but she's a droid. She keeps saying she wants to stop the aliens and she doesn't do anything about it, and she keeps snubbing the superhuman Ripley, who's probably the only chance they have. Also, Ripley gets to do this creepy like sniffing thing, and she keeps moving her head like this because she's crazy and she's got like alien DNA now. And in this series, watch Alien and Aliens, and if you possibly can, try not to watch the other two. The Blu-ray high definition looks great on each of these films. There are only a few moments where I discovered a significantly grainy quality, like in the second movie and a few scenes that take place on Earth. Bonus features, anything and everything you could ever want to know or find out about the Alien series is in here. Every movie has an original version and an updated version of the film. Audio commentary by the directors, actors, crew, isolated score tracks in case you want to watch the movie without any of that pesky dialogue and just feel the music. There's deleted and extended scenes, and there is the Mother Mode interactive experience with Wayland-Yutani data stream, which means you can watch the movie and have all this information popping out at you, coming out on the bottom, probably interviews and different things like that. On the 2 additional discs that are just for the extras, there are over 12 hours of documentaries, 5 hours of video enhancement pods that are presenting more behind-the-scenes footage. There are raw dailies and interview outtakes from all the films. There are features on developing the story, continuing the story, casting, characterization, creature design, weapons, action, music, visual effects, sound, and just in case you needed it, there's a feature called In the Zone, the basketball scene, where Ripley goes one-on-one with Hellboy and throws up the backward nothing but net. Did anyone else notice that in Alien Resurrection, Hellboy gets mad at Ripley for using their ammunition to totally go fireballs on all the bad clones? And then he uses his gun on a frickin' spider. Yeah, Hellboy gets freaked out by a spider, shoots it. Good use of ammunition, bro. Good way to conserve. Disc 6 is where it gets really nerdy for a collector, as it is jam-packed full of notes, storyboards, pictures, conceptual art, screen tests, additional deleted scenes, trailers and TV spots, and more details for each of the 4 films. I cannot even begin to cover all of this. So let me just say it is the mother load. If you need everything Alien ever, besides that series called Alien vs. Predator, this is the set that you probably need to get. And even though I don't like the last 2 movies, I think that this set is pretty badass. I know this was a really long review, but at least watching my video is shorter than the 60 hours, so you can at least get the idea of if you want to put down your dollar on Alien Anthology. If you just like the first 2 movies, then maybe try to find them separately. Check out my other reviews at hauntedflowerreviews.com and my online apparel store at hauntedflower.com, where we have alien stuff and we're cool. Thank you. See you next time. Shameless plug! Don't forget to see all of my reviews and videos of me on the Rotten Tomatoes show at hauntedflowerreviews.com. Also check out our store, hauntedflower.com, the web's best source for fantastic apparel. You can follow us on Twitter at haunted_flower or fan our Facebook page too. If you're local to the Indianapolis area, visit indiemojo.com for details on how you can win free screening passes.
She's my alien.